In today's video, I'm going to review a mobile game called Ship Mooring Simulator that I found in Google's App Store. It looks a bit like a real ship simulator, but what really grabbed my attention was that in the description it says the game was developed by a marine engineer. Now, I've tried quite a few of these sort of games over the years and none of them have got it quite right in terms of realistic ship handling, so I'm actually going to put a ship through its paces and test it just like a real vessel. The first thing you come to is the main menu. You've got different scenarios there on the right, and on the left you get to pick between fixed and random levels and day or night mode. I've only ever used day mode because you can see that in night mode all it does is restrict visibility, and the game is a mooring simulator, not a navigation simulator, so sticking with day mode makes most sense to me. With the levels, you get to choose between fixed and random. Fixed lets you play through the levels designed by the developer, and random sort of generates the levels itself. I find it's nice for variety, but it can do funny things sometimes, like it places ships on top of each other or AI ships might drive through the land. In terms of scenarios, you can choose between arrival, coming alongside of Earth, departure, obviously leaving a berth, port to port, which combines a departure and arrival into the one scenario, endless sail, which lets you follow a buoyed channel, and sandbox, which lets you build your own levels. After picking your scenario, you get a choice of vessels. What looks like a single screw ship, a twin screw, single azipod, the Titanic, which doesn't actually indicate its propulsion, but judging by that wash, you get its original triple screw design. Next is the twin azipod, which is a modern cruise ship configuration. VLCC, again, doesn't indicate its propulsion, but the wash indicates a single screw. The RMS Queen Mary looks like a twin screw judging by that wash. A CPP, so as this actually specifies CPP, that kind of implies that all the rest are fixed pitch. And then finally we get the USS Iowa, again not telling us its propulsion, but the wash is indicating a twin screw design. So let's jump straight in and see how accurate one of these ships is. I've gone with the single screw fixed pitch vessel with a bow thruster, and I've set myself in a clear sandbox for now. The first thing we'll test is whether she's right or left-handed, and that's going to check if there's any transverse thrust in the game. I can do that by running dead slow astern on the engine and seeing if a rate of turn builds up as she gets moving. We can actually see there is already a 4-degree rate of turn to starboard, which tells us not only that there's transverse thrust in the game, but also that our vessel is right-handed. Check out my video about left-handed ships if you want to see more about transverse thrust. Resetting the scenario, the next thing I'm going to test is the bow thruster. If you remember back to my video on manoeuvring a cruise ship, I'm going to see if a little bit of headway is generated when we run the thruster. Already we can see there's a massive rate of turn building to port, and there is a little bit of headway, 0.4 of a knot ahead, 0.5, increasing all the time too. That's behaving exactly as I would expect. Quite impressed with that. For the third test, let's see how she does with a kick ahead. I'll start off with the rudder hard to port and run the engine dead slow ahead. We have that rate of turn building to port, that's good. Let's just fast forward until it settles. Right, we're on 6.2 knots ahead with almost 90-degree rate of turn to port. I'll now give a kick up to half ahead and watch the rate of turn. That's shooting up as expected, so we can now drop back to dead slow ahead. We use these kicks in real life when you're not quite turning quick enough. A nice burst on the engine lets you get round a tighter corner without building up too much speed. For the final scenario, I just want to check the momentum of the ship. I'm expecting when I come slow ahead she's going to build up headway. Okay, so we're about 4 knots, let's kill that engine and let the propeller stop. That's good, you can see that she's still carrying a good amount of speed. That tells us she's continuing under her own momentum, just as a real ship would. So let's check it during a turn as well. Run dead slow ahead and come hard over. Rate of turn builds as expected, so we'll come back to midships. Okay, I was expecting that rate of turn to continue more than that. On a real ship you would expect to use counterhelm to stop a turn. Maybe a ship with really fine lines might straighten up like that, but it does seem a little quick on this vessel to me, so we'll bear that in mind as we try an actual manoeuvre. I've just selected one of the standard arrival scenarios where we have our vessel and 2 tugs available, and our aim is to berth on the red and yellow hatched berth. I'll start by putting the rudder hard over to starboard and come dead slow ahead. I'm just looking to turn the ship towards the berth to get us lined up a bit better for the approach. Rate of turn's coming on and the speed is building nicely. That's good. Carry on turning towards the berth, aiming to get the bow close on that knuckle at the west end there. She's coming around nicely, so we'll stop the engine there. And return to midships. That's good, so she's drifting in the right direction and the speed is slowly reducing the whole time. Let's just get a better view. Okay, so the rudder over to starboard again as that bow is drifting off. Little kick to dead slow to get that bow turning in a bit quicker. And stop so the speed doesn't build up too much. And we're a bit of a steep angle now, so let's start to get that stern in with some port helm. Annoyingly, that means the bow's going to come off a bit, but that can't be helped. Little kick ahead. And stop the engine. And slower stern wheel midships. We want to get a load of this headway off now. Okay, that dropped rather quick, stop the engine. And we're drifting astern, so we'll come hard to port and dead slow ahead. And stop the engine. Midships. And we'll call those tugs in. Of course, in reality, we would have strapped these on well in advance. Oh, we're drifting ahead still, so dead slow astern. Get that speed off. And here come the tugs. Let's ease those off a bit. Okay, so let's get that stern tug pushing to starboard and the bow tug pulling to port. Oops, stop the engine. Dead slow ahead as we're running backwards now. A little more on the bow. Stop engine. And we're pretty much stopped in the water. Let's just balance these tugs now to get us alongside. In we come. Ease them off a bit. Coming in parallel. And we're on the fenders, lovely. So, I'm not sure what you thought, but to me it seems to be a great little simulator for your phone. The ships don't quite handle as they do in real life, but saying that, I've been on real life simulators, and while they may be more realistic, there's still no substitute for the real thing. I'd definitely give it a go if you're just looking to mess around with a bit of ship handling on your mobile. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I'd love to know what you think of me adding a few different styles of video to the channel, so make sure you leave me a comment down below. Until next time, thank you for watching, and goodbye.